Okay, thank you very much for joining us again here on Serious Matters at ONIF TV. Please do share videos with others, drop your comment, make them simple and civil. Well, I'm going to be bringing you details of the scheduled judgment of the presidential election petition tribunal judgment coming out has been slated for Wednesday, the 6th of September. 2023. So we will be taking on that. Please feel free to drop your comment, make them simple and civil. Let us know what your opinions are. However, we are open to criticisms and all of that, so but then make them very constructive so that whoever is listening or watching or reading can learn one or two things. Well, the first point is that the judgment has been eventually slated for the 6th of September, which falls on Wednesday. Time not specific, and so we will keep fingers crossed and all of that. Secondly, is that let me take it this way. First of all, the presidential election petition judgment to be delivered on Wednesday, 6th of September. That's the first thing. Number two is that it's going to be televised live. That means you can watch. It's going to be televised live. It's going to be televised live, and what that simply means is that you are going to be watching as it is happening live, until it happens, before we now say, oh, they actually did it, because Nigeria is filled up of we will do something and it's something else that we see. Somebody just comes up and say the generator was not working, there was no lights, that was why we couldn't, and all of that. And so but then we believe that that's what's going to happen, so let's take it like that. So secondly, it's going to be televised live. Number three is that entry into the venue will be strictly upon accreditation. Strictly upon accreditation, because of the number of the number of people that would have that would want to gain entry into the appeal courts. Then for that reason and for security reasons, it's going to be upon accreditation. Let me also mention here that in a bid to promote transparency and openness, these judgments, like I said earlier on, will be televised live by the interested television stations for the public to view. No important notice, like I said earlier on. Number two is that access to the court premises will be strictly on accreditation. Only accredited individuals will be allowed to enter for security reasons. And so I think majorly people should watch all the way from home. So number one is that the judgment is going to be taking place on the 6th of September, which is on Wednesday. Number two is that it's going to be televised live. Number three is that entry into the venue is going to be strictly by accreditation. Number four is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has jetted out of the country to India, and so most likely will not be on ground in the country when that judgment will be taking place. And this it gives me some goosebumps at this point, because some persons have even reacted to it like saying, oh, so it's probably a calculated movement. But then even if that might not be true in its totality, because it might not be true in its totality because we were not the one who arranged for the meeting that he went for. So even though we are not actually represented there. I hope you know the the only African country there is South Africa, that is actually a part of that team. So but then I think for the sake of growth and all of that, business investment and all of that for the country, our president is also there and all of that. So some person said that, oh, it's a calculated movement, and that's why he's not in the country at the time when, it's a critical time. I would have expected that even the president will sit down. You see, we need to come to a point where to a relaxed point in this country. In Africa, we are too tensed. Our movement, everything about us is too tensed. Everything about us is too tensed. It's too rigid. A politician is moving, every other person on the road must stop. And the president is coming, everybody must stand still. And the president is flying in, every other plane must stop. Everything about us is rigid. I think we should come to a relaxed you know, we should come to that point where we are relaxed. Where we are relaxed. I see no reason why Mr. President should not be in the country and watch. I mean, sit down and watch. As a matter of fact, he is actually one of the persons that have been petitioned. So, I mean, I don't say anything. For that period, I think he should have all scheduled. I mean, just to show that, look, whatever this judgment is all about. But then some persons have said that, oh, APC will do everything possible within their power to remain in power. But then nobody remains in power for life. I know people who have said that, who have behaved as if they were all in all, and today they are no more. And so if another party does not take the power away from you, you know, life is nothing. Nobody has a total control of life. There is God who has control of life, who decides to take it and decides to leave it. So nobody has the autonomy or 100% power to say, oh, I'm the one in charge and all of that. And so Mr. President is not on ground and will not be in the country, you know, when this judgment is taking place. So the question is, what if the judgment is against him? What if the judgment now turns out to be against him? Will he come back? Will he now come back and then go to the office as president, or what have you? Or he, well, let's say somebody else. Let me say Atiku is announced as the winner. You know now, so, you know I mentioned Atiku. Okay, let's assume Atiku is mentioned as the winner. So what happens? Will he still come back as president of Nigeria and what have you? But then we see how things pan out. We're going to be here, you know, giving updates as to what's happening. But then everybody's going to watch live. So we're going to connect live, and so you can watch on our YouTube platform, and so that you can, you know, just drop your let's interact on this particular one. And so number 4 is that Mr. President will not be on ground. And number 5 is that banks are shutting down from tomorrow, 5th. They will be shutting down tomorrow, 5th and 6th of September. Banks will be shutting down. So it's also advisable that people should withdraw as much cash as they can, at least that can take care of, you know, 2 days. And then also, I guess transactions, electronic transfers will be working, and also try as much as well to buy, you know, some food. Have some food available, I mean, in your house, so that you, even if you don't have to move around and all that. We are not envisaging that, you know, there will be any form of what have you, but then any form of brouhaha, like people will say, you know. But then to now say but then to just be on the safe side, it's advisable that we just get a number of things. Let there be fuel in your car, all of that. Just put things in place, and of course we will we're sure to have the best. And of course, like we always say, all eyes on the judiciary. And somebody says, what is the eyes of the international organization or international bodies looking at on the judiciary? Oh, judiciary is, like we always say, is the last hope of the common man. And in fact, it's the hope of Nigerians. I mean, it's only in this country that people will say, we don't want you to be our leader, and then the person says, by force, by fire, I must be your leader. I don't know. It doesn't work that way anyway. Because if democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, it has to be a collaboration. There must be a collaboration. And so if there's no collaboration between who the leader is under a democratic government and the people he's leading, then it has become an autocratic or a military rule where nobody can talk and all of that. And so very, very important. And so banks will be shutting down, and of course for 2 days from 5th, and of course NLC is not going back on their strike, proposed strike from tomorrow, warning strike for 2 days. And so they shunned meetings with the federal government. You know, they were supposed to have a meeting with the federal government, and interestingly, it's always when they want to go on strike that the federal government remembers that, you know, they have to have meetings with them and all of that. And so they shun FG meetings. They have shunned meetings with the federal government. And so we're looking forward to events as they will unfold. And so the airports union directs workers to stay at home. Airports unions direct workers to stay at home. That's number 5. And number 6 is that the Court of Appeal has asked workers to stay at home as well. Court of Appeal has asked workers to stay at home. Very interesting. Breaking news. Court of Appeal orders workers to stay at home for presidential tribunal judgment. Orders workers to stay at home for presidential judgment. I think this is basically the chief registrar of the court Oluwaleye Oluwasegun David informed the workers in a memo on Monday, September 4, 2023. According to him, only those with tags will be allowed entry into the court premises on Wednesday, the judgment day. The memo said the measure was taken to create a conducive and peaceful atmosphere for the special sitting of the Presidential Election Tribunal. So it's a very special event, and the whole world will be watching. I'll be watching. I know you're going to be watching too. And so get ready. And of course, let there be data too, so that you can watch us, so that you can, we can interact here on Serious Matters. Of course, if matters don't make sense, we don't talk about them. And so we're talking about matters that make sense. I wanted to add one more thing that you also needed to know. That protests, all sort of foreign protests have been pegged. No protest is allowed anywhere. All country. Somebody said. I saw a news not quite long. DSS now reduced to government propaganda arm. It's the National Association of News, National Agency of News, films over clampdown on protests. Clampdown on protests by the DSS. The students' body gave the warning. Sorry, National Association of Nigeria Students. Sorry, I beg your pardon. National Association of Nigeria Students, I beg your pardon, has warned security agents against clamping down on Nigerians, especially students, for protesting against bad governance in the country. Well, I think the security agencies are just doing their job to see to it that there is harmony and peace in the land. And so, but then I think it should just be done calmly and properly. The student body gave the warning in a statement in reaction to a statement released by Nigeria's Secret Police, the Department of State Services, DSS, claiming it had uncovered plans by unnamed people in the country to stage violent protests over sundry socio-economic challenges in the country. Well, let's hope that things, all Nigerians are asking for is a better government. All Nigerians are asking for is good governance. That's all. All Nigerians are asking for is good governance. Okay, so we'll continue with that. Let's draw the curtain here. Thank you very much for keeping pace with us here at ONIF TV. My name is Olukunle Abrams, and this is Serious Matters.